What's up, everybody? I'm Matt.
And I'm Beth.
And today we're going to be reviewing the interior in the 2023 Kia Telluride. So the Telluride got a little bit of a refresh here for the 2023 model year, and it was already basically one of the best in its segment, and it continues to be one of the best in the segment, but not the best anymore, I think. And I'll elaborate more about that here in a minute. But as far as, you know, the big changes, you can see that everyone now gets, as standard, digital gauges, digital, touchscreen here, this huge 12.3-inch touchscreen display, and it's all in this curved enclosure that's really cool. Kia's been doing it in some of the other stuff like the Sportage, and it's great to see it here in the Telluride as well. And so that's standard. Even if you get a base bare bones Telluride, you get that, which is top-notch tech in its segment. No one else can match those kinds of screens aside from Hyundai with the Palisade, which is on the same platform, same parent company, so it shares a lot with the Telluride here. But I also just have to say this terracotta colored leather that they have here is really nice. This is a fully loaded SX Prestige X-Pro that we're in. So this is a fully loaded one. This one retails just over $55,000 as tested, but if you don't need the off-roady stuff, you can get an SX Prestige, which has all these same features for, I think, around 52 or so. But I just think it's a really nice color. I like the quilting, and just nice to have some color options in interiors,
Yeah, definitely. I'm never too excited about the browns, but I think that I kind of like this. It's a little orangey, but I definitely wouldn't ever get it, but I think it's pretty.
Yeah, and it's, again, just nice to give people options. I think they also are offering a dark blue leather, as well as, I think, a dark green. So it's great that they're just, giving some options aside from black and maybe beige, like most other, vehicles offer. So just anyway, moving on to these seats, the other things about them here, you see there are power seats here, of course, here are these top trims. They have memory functions, the adjustable lumbar, and they also are heated and ventilated here in these upper trims as well. But the one thing I will say about the seats, and this is one of the areas where the Palisade has now surpassed the Telluride on the inside, is that the Palisade in its top calligraphy trim has an ergo motion seat, which is like a massage seat that kind of relieves back tension on long drives and stuff. This doesn't have that, so this seat is a little simpler. So I do prefer the Palisade calligraphy seat, but I'd say this is still very comfortable, super nice, and great to have all the other functions as well.
Yeah, and with the passenger, you have all of your power adjustments, which is really nice. You also have that lumbar support added on, as well as when there is a baby seat in the back like we have right now, you still get a decent amount of legroom. You get a lot of legroom, in my opinion. I'm only 5'5", so I know that I'm just average, but I think with somebody taller, I don't think they would mind too much with the legroom. I think it's really great. We did go on a long car trip this weekend, and my dad did sit in the front. He is 6'2", so I think he was really comfortable in here. I think he enjoyed the car, definitely.
Yeah, so if it's good enough to have a baby seat back there and still someone 6'2", that's, I think, a really well done job. And obviously this is a very large, mid-size SUV here, but great to have so much space there. Moving on to the steering wheel here, it's a great wheel. I like a little bit of metal accents you have here on it, which are cool to the touch, and just a nice wheel. It's heated, of course, here in these upper trims as well, and looks great. The gauges, though, are really nice as well. You have, again, this 12.3-inch cluster for the gauges, and I love that you can adjust them so you can have different themes for the display there, and it's all the usual adjustments there in the middle as far as showing you the basic stuff. Not a ton of customization there, but it is cool that you have the different themes and stuff, and just really great gauges. And then coming over to the center of the dashboard here, you have this huge, again, 12.3-inch touchscreen display, and it's a curved display. It's really nice looking. I really love the menus and the way that all this stuff is customizable, so I can drag and drop all these little icons and have all the most frequently used ones in close reach to me, and then the ones I don't need, I can have them further back, and you can adjust all of those, and it's really cool. There's different color themes, everything is so customizable, and Kia and Hyundai, they do such a good job of allowing you to customize not only just like that kind of stuff, but also just all the various settings as far as the vehicle settings and stuff. There's more customization here than most average vehicles, and I really love how much they let you really custom tailor these. And so everything else works great. You have a great navigation system, changing all the radio stations, things like that are easy to do with a nice volume and tune knobs still here. Great that you still have those. The only big downfall of this screen is it does not have wireless Apple CarPlay or wireless Android Auto. It has wired in CarPlay and Android Auto, but basically all the competitors these days have wireless smartphone integration, and the wireless is really nice when you're around town, you don't want to mess with plugging your phone in and stuff. It's great to just have it connect for a short drive. Obviously, if you're on a longer drive, you'll want to plug it in, but you do also have a wireless phone charger here as well, though, so that'll help keep it topped off if you had that wireless connectivity, but you don't. So Just kind of unfortunate that you have that. But I think one of the ways that Kia makes up for it is the fact that the Bluetooth audio streaming is really good. And when you are listening to your music through your phone, it'll show you, your playlist of what's coming up next. It shows you album art still and all that. But still just a bummer you do not have that wireless smartphone integration. It's crazy that I complained about this back a few years ago whenever these came out, and it still has not been fixed. I'm not sure what the holdup is, but both this and Hyundai and Genesis, none of them have wireless Apple CarPlay in these big screens for some reason. So that's the only downfall. Supposedly there's an aftermarket workaround if you do want to have wireless in these. I'm not sure, how good it is, but supposedly there is a workaround, but still unfortunate you don't have that from the factory. Moving on though, you have this little row of, shortcut buttons here, and I like that they're encased in metal. This does feel a little more expensive than the Palisade, which doesn't have any kind of metal trim here on the dashboard like that. Then you have your climate controls here, which are, more the standard plastic stuff, but still, nice large fonts and very easy to, adjust all that stuff. Storage space is also fantastic here in the Telluride. You have nice large pockets in the doors with a bottle holder. In the middle here, you'll see that wireless phone charger and a bunch of hookups, as well as, 2 cup holders and this extra little cubby, which I just use for my sunglasses, and it's great. And you also have the center armrest, which has some padding on it. You open that up and it's nice and deep and has another USB-C jack in there. And you also have this little removable tray here as well. With
a passenger too, you do have this little pocket right in the middle here as well, so that's pretty nice.
And then moving on to the back seat here, so it's still the same nice spacious back seat you had from the previous, pre-refresh Tellurides. And so me being 5'9", sitting behind myself, obviously that seat slides forwards and backwards, but even with it slid all the way up, I still have enough space. And then all the way back, of course, you have tons of space, tons of headroom. You also will see the dual panel moonroof you have. It's kind of interesting where you have the small little moonroof up front here, and then, bigger one on the back. So there's this huge panel that has, your air vents and climate controls and all of that. So it's not quite as expansive as some of the other huge panoramic roofs that are, uninterrupted like you see in some other competing vehicles. But otherwise, other things in that back seat that are really nice. You have these USB-C jacks mounted right here in the seat back in the front here, which is great. You also have extra cup holders there. There's also 2 different power outlets, regular 115 volt as well as a 12 volts. But next to these cup holders, I'm not super excited about it because it is piano black plastic. I was riding in the back seat a little bit and I did see it shining in the sun with the moonroof open, and I saw everything. I saw all these scratches, everything else. If you have kids back there, it's gonna get scratched up. So I wish they would put something there like this plastic that they have on the doors. This plastic is the same exact color as the leather, so I think that could have been really nice to just make it so it doesn't get scratched up and it looks way nicer. Yeah, Kia is one of the worst. Even the Carnival minivan we reviewed recently, they love putting tons of plastic in that too. So yeah, definitely a good point there. And you do see a little bit of that up front here as well. And so you can even see this, it's already dusty and it doesn't look super nice. Lots of fingerprints. Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised because you have like this nice like wood kind of material here on the dash, and it'd be great to have seen more of that down here by the shifter. Definitely would have been a better choice than all this piano black plastic. But anyway, getting back to that second row, other things, they have little pockets there in the doors, and they do have heated and cooled seats, which is really nice. I didn't test out the cooled seats because it is winter here, but when I did test out the heated seats, I will say I'm kind of annoyed that they don't automatically turn off, or at least automatically lower once they've gotten to the hottest setting, because I found that I had to manually turn it down, and that was kind of frustrating because I was getting so hot with those heated seats. So it is very nice when you're cold and you just need to warm up really quick, but when it stays on for an extra 5 minutes, you'll get way too hot. Yeah, they're very intense. Even like the heated steering wheel gets like pretty toasty, and it's kind of funny. But anyway, so another thing I really love though about the second row is how easily it gets out of the way to get into the third row. There's a button there, both a lower button and then one higher up there. Both of them work the same. You just press it and that seat slings forward automatically. And that is so nice. And it's so funny that everyone else in this segment has not copied that. It's still only Hyundai, the Kia here, and then Honda who still do that. Everyone else still uses a big heavy lever, and you have to be an adult to move that seat, versus this is kid friendly. They press a button. As long as your kid can press a button, they can get that seat out of the way and get access to that third row, which is great and a brilliant move, and I'm so glad that we can continue to see it here in this as well. But anyway, once you get into that third row, it's pretty spacious. So again, me being 5'9", I'm sitting with the seat pushed all the way back in the second row. My knees are digging into the seat back a little bit. So, you know, it would work in a pinch, but wouldn't be super comfortable for long distances. But if you can sacrifice some second row leg room, having this second row seat just slid up a little bit, I don't even have it slid up all the way, but on the other side here, sitting behind myself, then you have a couple of inches of leg room spare. I mean, it's probably like 2 or 3 inches, honestly. So it's great. You also have a good amount of headroom back there as well, and they even have their own USB-C jacks and cup holders back there too. But the one other area where this falls behind the Palisade now is the Palisade Calligraphy has heated third row seats, and I believe this is probably the only thing in the non-luxury segment that has the heated third row seats. And I was expecting the Telluride to get it as well, considering they share a lot of components, but it doesn't. So, I mean, heated third row is a real extravagance currently in 2023. So, maybe, if you like the Telluride stuff and everything else the Telluride offers better, it's worth missing out on third row heated seats, considering most people don't even know that that's a thing that's possible. But if you do want the most luxury in your Korean built mid-size SUV here, just note that the Palisade gives you the massaging front seat and heated third row seats, and the Telluride cannot match either of those things, unfortunately. It'd be nice to see them add those. They're in the parts bin, but unfortunately they decided to leave those out for some reason.
But also, if you do not have a huge family and you're not going to use that third row all the time, it'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll totally depend on your use case, but just want to make you guys aware, the Palisade now has the one-up over the Telluride as far as interior niceties. And then moving on to the trunk space here in the Telluride, it's still just as great as it always has been. You have, a good amount of space there, even with the floor in place, but you also can lift up that floor, and you'll see that a nice deep well there. I mean, you can fit several large duffel bags under there, and it's just a huge amount of space. And one of the best as far as third row, cargo spaces, in these mid-size SUVs, a really solid amount of space back there. And so overall, I'd say this thing is just really family friendly between, those second row seats sliding forward, all the creature comforts, and even having the cooled second row seats is something that still some others to this day, even the brand new Honda Pilot doesn't have an option for ventilated second row seats. So this still kind of is definitely at the top of the pack. It's just the Palisade outdoes it a tiny bit, but overall still Telluride is basically a 10 out of 10. If they did the wireless CarPlay, I'd say it's basically a perfect interior still. So overall, very, very impressed and so happy that they're offering the colors and everything, and it just adds into the other nice improvements they've made to the Telluride here on the outside for 2023. It's just overall is just still one of the best vehicles in its segment, in my opinion. But anyway, let us know your thoughts on the Telluride in the comments below. That's all of our thoughts. Be sure to also watch the driving review if you want to hear all the thoughts on how this drives and how it's priced compared to its competition and all that stuff. But anyway, thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
Take care.